What's cracking, YouTube? Welcome back to another episode. First and foremost, I'd just like to say a big old thanks to everybody who's reached out, who's watched the previous 3 episodes and has shown some love. Very much appreciated. So today we are heading into factory for a posterior session, and by the time Saturday rolls along, I always feel a little bit exhausted, I'm not gonna lie. But what I've tried to acknowledge, what I was thinking about this morning, is like, am I actually exhausted, or is it just the narrative that I'm telling myself? Because I've told myself every Saturday morning, oh, you know, you're gonna be knackered on Saturday. What's the truth of the situation? That's the thing that we need to think about. This is the reason why I don't wear like an Aura ring or track my sleep and things like that, because I'm the sort of person that would just flip out if I saw some data that said, you've slept terribly, you're going to feel awful, perhaps you should consider chilling out today. I'm more of the mindset that I'd rather check in with myself. I'd rather really acknowledge, is it just the narrative that I've told myself over the last 50 weeks about being knackered on Saturdays, or am I actually knackered? So this morning I woke up, I started running through that same script that I've been running for a long time, and I said to myself, no, I'm alright, I'm feeling pretty good. So we are in for a session that is posterior. Every Saturday is posterior. For those who don't know what the posterior session consists of, it's everything from the back of your skull down to your calves. So we're going to be starting off with a little bit of calf work, then we're going to get into some deadlifts, we're going to get into some hamstring work, then we're going to get into some lateral work as well. So this episode is probably going to go over a couple of different days, because it's Saturday the 13th of June at the moment, and this afternoon I am out celebrating my best friend's birthday and my birthday, which is coming up in 2 weeks time. So on my actual birthday I'm going to be heading up to the north, and I'm going to be watching Tommy and supporting Tommy in his PCA show, his first time in show. So I'm really excited for that. So trying to align diaries with friendship groups. The older you get, you know what it's like, it's a nightmare. But yeah, this afternoon we are heading out, gonna have a little bit of a drink. I've definitely, over the last 3 years, tamed my drinking. I only reserve it now for special occasions, and this is one of them. So we're going to a wine tasting up in the Uplands in Swansea, midday session. Going to be finished by about 2 o'clock, and then home by around about 6 o'clock, no doubt. So it's not going to be anything too mental. It's a nice opportunity to have some downtime, especially because the last 25 weeks since just before Christmas, I've been fully locked into my cut, and I think from time to time allowing yourself a little bit of opportunity to let your hair down, to relax, and to give back to everybody who supported you from being a little bit of a robot over the last 25 weeks. You know, I absolutely love the routine and structure that I have in place. I very rarely go off plan when it comes to like meals and things. I normally just add a few extra potatoes or have an extra burger, or you know, that sort of thing instead. But from time to time it is nice to have some off-plan meals, and today we are going to be doing that. So first and foremost, we're going to be training, we're going to be getting our steps in, then we are going to be heading back tomorrow and Monday. What we're going to be doing is preparing for London. So yeah, as I've mentioned in my last episode, we are going to be up in London for a week with work, supporting students in putting on their degree show up in London, which I'm really excited for. Me and 2 other colleagues are going to be up there. So of course, when you are out of routine, when you're out of structure, it's important that you do some preparation. As my old man often says, fail to prepare, prepare to fail. And it is very true. If you don't prepare, then you will most likely not stick to plan and go off the boil. So, you know, the importance of preparation when you are away from your routine is important, and I'm going to be talking you through that process over the coming days now. So we'll wrap it up there. We'll see you in the gym. Let's get after it, people. game, set and match on posterior. That was a very, very productive session once again. So annihilated everything from the back of the skull to the heels, and slowly building up the numbers with the deadlift. I put my back out doing deadlifts, not last off season, the off season before, and I've always got that internal voice that I was mentioning about feeling knackered at the start of the day on a Saturday. On that Saturday, it's also compounded by the fact that I've had an injury in the past on deadlift, so sometimes you have to switch that voice off and really lock into the training performance. But it's been a very productive session overall. We're building up the numbers slowly but surely. We were joined by Tom, who I mentioned in the last episode, who's now starting his mini cut, and we also were joined by my brother Gareth. So Gareth is somebody who started about 2 years ago. These are the visuals. So this was his starting point. This is after he'd even lost some weight on his own. But over the last 2 years, he's absolutely locked in, and he's seen the benefit of what training does and structure does for his mental well-being, and he is absolutely flying now. So he's like a changed man completely. On my Instagram, if you scroll back, there's a bit of a story about Gareth on there, so I would encourage you to have a look at that because it'll provide a little bit more context. But this is Gareth now. Whammy, absolutely incredible. So he's just finished his cut, now transitioning back into an improvement phase. You know, the first 4 to 6 weeks after a cut, we really call it a health phase because hormonal balance is relatively skewed at that point. So we're just building up some nutrition back to baseline, and slowly but surely increasing our strength across all of our sessions. So that's what you need when you're in an improvement phase, to have a different sort of mindset and to execute it to the standards that you set for yourself when you're in that calorie deficit. So Gareth is somebody who never gets sloppy. His step count is the highest of any client on plan because he loves walking, and he's absolutely flying. So we're gonna jump into the shower now, have a bit of post-workout cereal. I'm currently eating 150 grams of Cocoa Pops, which doesn't fit into one bowl anymore, so we're going to split that across two, and then we're going to head up to the Uplands, have a little bit of downtime, as I've mentioned, with some friends, and by the power of magic, by the power of technology, I will reconvene with you tomorrow. Peace out, have a good day, peeps. Shazam, we're back. It is Sunday, the 14th of June now, the morning after the night before. We had a lovely time yesterday, really, really nice. Had a little off-plan meal, which was great, a little pizzeretti, put some pictures up here, and a nice charcuterie board, and a couple of glasses of wine, but really, really nice to be out with friends and family, and do a little bit of celebrating for the old birthdays. So that was really, really nice. And I was thinking this morning, right, before I jumped on the scale, I anticipated the scale weight would be up because it was higher sodium. My sleep was a little bit poor last night, but we don't transfix on the scale weight. Lots of people allow the scale weight to dictate the rest of their day, but we have to just disengage from what that number says, right? We just have to note it as a data entry, and that is all it is. We just jump on the scales, the same as we do every other day. The scale weight was up, to be anticipated, and we just get back into routine today now. So I've got 25 minutes to box off prior to anybody getting up this morning, and then we've got a nice day planned, pick up the car from Swansea, and maybe take the dog for a walk on the beach, which would be lovely. And then the rest of this video is going to play out as follows. We are going to be packing for London. So Monday we've got to load the van in Swansea with all of the students' work, and then on Tuesday morning AM we are driving up to London, and then we're up in London Tuesday through to Sunday. So that's going to be good. I'm going to pack all of my goods with me to stay on track whilst I am away. So I'm excited for that one. So let's dive into the rest of the day. Stunning. Here he comes, Walter Benjamin, the three-legged cat. Most beautiful boy. And you kid, look at you. Oh yes you are. Stationary bike done and dusted. Heart rate 130 beats per minute. A little bit more challenging to keep the heart rate up when you're on the stationary bike comparative to a Stairmaster. That steady state does it for you pretty much, but when you're on the stationary bike you have to keep that spin per minute up to keep the heart rate elevated. So we've done that, 25 minutes in the bank now. And I was thinking whilst on the stationary bike that, you know, when people do go out for a night out, it's not necessarily the damage that's done on that evening, it's actually the damage that's done the following day when routine, structure around training, around steps, around nutrition get forgotten about, and that's when people start to reach for the fat apps. Uber Eats, Domino's Pizza, etc. So just don't do that. You know, make a plan for the following day, because you know the work still needs to get done. Don't allow a one night of enjoyment to become 3 days of becoming a fucking slob. Woof! We're back. It's Monday the 15th. Currently 14:51 in the afternoon and just heading home from work. But let's rewind on the last clips that you saw, and that was Sunday was a very relaxed day. Managed to get everything done that needed to get done. Picked up some supplies, ready for the London trip now, and yeah, it's been a productive morning this morning. So we were up bright and early, 4 o'clock. The reason we had to get up that early is because there's shit to be done, and it ain't gonna get done unless we get up early and sort out a routine. So we did that. We got a nice meal in prior to training, a ridiculous pump, training push number 1. On my own this morning. Don't get to train on my own very often, but it was really, really nice to do so. Tunes on, fully locked into the session. And as I say, a ridiculous pump. I'll slap up some visuals for you to get your eye into. Well, let me tell you. But yeah, the rest of the day unfolded as follows. We had 11 check-ins to do this morning prior to heading into Swansea, into work. And yeah, some of the things that we've been discussing in this episode about how the narrative that we tell ourselves shapes our perception was what was lent on in the feedback to a lot of clients this morning. And the reason that is because a lot of people have this kind of like all or nothing mindset. They allow one off-plan meal to let them spiral into, you know, a full day of eating off-plan. But, you know, I think sometimes we need to take a 3-mile distance view of what's going on across the week. And just to reiterate to people that as long as that pie chart of life is filled up predominantly by things which are positive and align the actions with the goals, then that's where progress will live. So instead of allowing your perception of your week to be shaped by the 1% of the week that hasn't gone right, you should allow your perception to be shaped by the 99% of what fills up that pie chart, because this isn't about isolated incidents. This is about making informed decisions from those isolated incidents as you move forward. So, you know, if you don't allow one off-plan meal to become 3 or 4 off-plan meals, then you're winning, right? And as I say to everybody, you know, what's the next decision that you need to make when you do go off-plan? And that decision should always be to get back onto fucking plan. So there we go. Yeah, it's been a very productive morning overall. The squad are absolutely flying. Some great results being produced at the moment, and everybody seems to be really dialing their intensity in the gym, and that is where the progress also lives, in form and in execution. So we're currently en route back home now. I'm going to pack my effects ready for London, and that'll be the wrap up of this episode. So next time you see me, packing bags time, baby. Suitcase is packed. All of the clothes for the week are in a bag. Happy days on that front. I'm going to be training roughly around about 5 o'clock each morning prior to the working day, so I've got my supplementation to take with me. Yes, there is a breakfast included, but the breakfast doesn't open until 6 o'clock, by which point I will have eaten and be ready to train. So the reason I'm taking these products with me is to stay on course, and this is what those products look like. So very much the same as what my normal day-to-day stack would be. So I've got the hydration product right here, sodium, magnesium, potassium in this one. Then we've got the EAA, which I'll be taking whilst I train. Pre-workout prior to training, creatine first thing in the morning. I've got the trusty gimmick scales with me as well, because we can't just blag it, can we? We can't trust the little spoons that are in these products to be accurate. So we're taking our scales with us, and that will be used for lunch as well as, so I'll do some preparation for lunch prior to the working day as well. We've got a couple of Tupperware containers to take with us. We've got the trusty cream of rice to go up with us as well. So we've weighed that out for the amount of meals that we need over the next 5 days. And then we've got this big tub of protein. Laptop is coming up with me, of course, to be able to do my check-ins and just keep on track of my work schedule. And that is pretty much a rundown of the things that I'm going to be taking. So apart from this stuff, of course, there'll be plenty of shops, you know, just in the local area to be able to buy food
So I'll probably just go for like, chicken breast, microwave rice, some vegetables, probably some fresh vegetables. There's a microwave in the space that we're going to be occupying for the next week. So that's breakfast and lunch sorted. In the evenings, the likelihood is we'll probably be eating intelligently. So just choosing options which are going to be good. But some evenings, I might just eat food that I can cook on the fly as well. So that's how you keep the helm pointed in the right direction, because it sometimes can be a challenge. And that's a wrap on another episode. We're back in the black room of our house, which means that it's time for some philosophical reflections. Dear Watson. We're going to wrap this episode up by just covering off what we've already discussed in this episode, and that is that we very rarely see our progress objectively. We only see it subjectively. And what I mean by that is we only see it through the lens of our emotions. And often is the case that we need to take a little step back from the bigger picture, and we need to reflect on what's gone well and what hasn't gone well. It's only when we don't reflect on things that haven't gone well and we're just enacting a behaviour without really addressing it that the issues really emerge. But like I said at the tail end of the last episode, it's really, really important in the coaching process to have somebody in your corner to be able to identify those patterns as they emerge, because they go unconscious to ourselves often. So that's a wrap on this episode. Thank you very much indeed for everybody who has messaged, commented, subscribe to the channel. It doesn't go unnoticed. I do really, really appreciate it. And for those who haven't subscribed, those who haven't commented, those who haven't liked anything, you know what to do. Catch you down the road, people.